Okay, I am Jeffrey Road Kohut. This is my Potter's Journal. I am at Old Economy Village and Museum again. I've cleaned the pots just to get my hands on them in the Baker Kitchen last week. Christoph Webber pots, earthenware, something I have a passion for. Just enough slip decorating on it. Now, okay, here in the store they have a collection of crocks and jugs, stoneware, salt glaze with the cobalt. Not my thing, but as we got into the process, as we saw the pieces, as they passed through my hands, they all revealed a story. I found some things I didn't know. I'll share little bits of that randomly through the video. Okay, let's see what's going on at Old Economy Village today. These are just amazing pieces without the glaze on the outside and the slip work, the dark brown, and this one. I just can't believe how bold they were with the brushwork. Very contemporary looking to me. This is really fun, just going through this lineup. I mean, Hamilton and Jones here, still with a waxed sealed lid, and the pan, the stoneware pan. This one, I think, is the one that caught my attention the most. With, it looks like, I'm going to say some child got a stick and drew into the surface of the pot before it was glazed, almost like a you know, if it was a contemporary piece, I would say Jean Moreau did the carving. And the jug, different. This one's different from the Harmonist, Christoph Webber. To me, very different in style. But these, I think, stood out the most. Unglazed on the outside with the, okay, very bold brushwork on the pictures. Oh, but just amazing. Look how many more there are to do. So, I have done my homework since we left with the cleaning, left off cleaning last week.
Oh, yeah?
And this is it. Okay, these are tanware. Unglazed, with the brown decoration. They were meant to be designed and a specialty line.
Jeff, there's another one.
Oh, and the flower pot, which was exciting to see since I'm making historically inspired flower pots right now, so this might be in my future. Okay, so this is tanware I've discovered. They were designed to be very special pots, but designed by people who were not designers, trained to be designers. So that, to me, some of them that I've seen in the books and on image search have a somewhat overly contrived. But they are somewhat collectible. They were made in smaller quantities and they were special, so I guess there are a lot of them out there. And this week I've looked all over for my inspiration for my flower pots. Here is one at the Old Economy Village Historic Site. A stoneware one with the cobalt blue. And they've only got it on the front. A drain attached, something I don't do. And two drains on the inside. I did not look as these were being handed down to me. I couldn't believe these things were passing over my shoulder. Look at this lady. And although I've never been a fan of the stenciled Hamilton and Jones stuff, this one was a double handle. So that would have been nice to see. Oh, and this one, okay, very soulful in the shape and form of this storage vase. Who would think it would have a number 4 stamped on it? And the tulips here, such a beautiful swirl pattern of them. Okay, just going out in all directions. And the Hamilton and Jones stencils that I don't get excited about. Well, this one's got a rose pattern. Okay, if my interpretation is right. And working our way across the top, here we go again, another row of these beautiful things. These are number 5 and 6. These are huge. One really surprised me with the weight. Okay, hard to get down off of there and hard to get back up. Okay, the Hamilton and Jones stencils, the eagle, but you know, I always look more at the squiggle than I do at the eagle. But some nicely designed stencils. They must have had a lot of them. Did they burn down when the pottery did? If that's what happened, I think at least one of them. But here's the one I like. Okay, no stencil, just very simple with the brush and the cobalt. Okay, and number 6. Wow, that is a big one. And look at the liquid flow of that slip. It is, oh, I'm going to have to get in the shadow. It looks delicious. Oh, look at the row of them. We are able to pick up the pieces, find out their weight. Look at the bottoms, okay, the documentation for the museum, but see that the glaze is even on the bottom. Why and how did they do that? See that they did get a crack in the firing. And another day after the big ones, who would think there'd still be any fun? And here it is. Okay, here's a stencil and the jars. Okay, with the great form and shape to them. And then we've got the cylinder jar. Who would think that would be my favorite? Okay, very clean, very beautiful form. I'm a big fan of minimalist art as well. And here it is in a country crock and jar for storing. Overshadows for me this beautiful slip cobalt brush design and the stencil. I gotta take another look at these, Sarah, before they go back up, because I do want to come back and work with them again, but it may be some time. You don't see many tulips like that. And many more storage jars, a mixing bowl, and there is a lot to be seen in the storage jars like this, but they're numerous. I thought a bean crock, but it has a spout. And here we go, the prize for me, a beautiful earthenware and marvelously glazed inside. This is the jug shelf. Are there any Harmonist pieces here, or we won't know till we turn this over? Actually, that doesn't look like Weber's spout. Okay, these are all from the same hand. The same potter's hand. Look at those handles. And another potter, but this is the handle. These are the handles, all the different characters in them. Okay, and although molded or semi-molded, maybe Their finger marks on the inside we can't see. Fun to see. Okay, the jug with the applied lug handles and the wire and wood. Okay, handle. And moving on, but then mixed in one that is hand thrown. Maybe this was the era when the skills just weren't there. Not much form or shape to it. And the top looks like it was just about to collapse on him. Okay, the bean crock. And here we go. A spittoon. And the question is, why did they waste the cobalt on that? And this one is a fortunate survivor. Fortunate in that they used it for a paint bucket and didn't put a plant in it and stick it out in the yard, where certainly it would have been frozen and crumbled eventually to pieces. But it is surprising that they didn't see the artistry. Okay, and sometimes you just have to make them to use them, which doesn't mean you won't find something in them, like this one with a raised sealer and the neck coming in. They must have liked it, so they put their stamp on it. T, J, subtle. Very nice. And then this one with a nice bit of glaze built up on it. How did that all get there? And then a new size. Okay, we've been doing all sizes. This is not a gallon, but I guess good quart size. I wonder if the sideways stamp is a stencil that was really made for a bigger pot. And here's one. Okay, TV. I haven't seen this one yet, but it is a Greensboro pottery, or Greensboro region. So I didn't clean them all. There's still these two. 20 gallons, 16 gallons. Okay, something to entice me back. Okay, that was fun. In the process of cleaning, they revealed so much of their story. I have a new passion and admiration for the soft glaze and the cobalt that I didn't before. So many things I discovered. The tanware, my favorite, the stripies. I think I'll be back to help them again. They've got some more in their collection. Okay, stop back and see what's going on at Old Economy Village someday soon.